When you start your business, no one ever prepares you for what's in store. So, finding someone else who just gets it is sometimes the thing that can keep you pushing toward that big business goal.
We're turning our Zoom coffee chats into a weekly, unfiltered podcast for online business owners. They were so good, we always wanted to record them and repurpose them for content, anyways. And that's on being a social media manager.
I'm Jessica Sheehy.
And I'm Madeleine Digan, and this is
#managed. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of #managed. Jessica here, and I'm really happy that you are all listening to the show. Shameless quick plug at the start because I don't think we do it, but if you are loving these episodes, go ahead and follow us on social media, follow the show, subscribe, leave a review if you're feeling oh so generous this week. But I know we are filming this episode in the middle of the week, so full disclosure, guys, I know this is up on a Monday, so happy Monday. But we're filming this on the Wednesday, the hump day before. So, hey, Madeline, how's it going? I know it's been a while, but how was your weekend?
it was good. I knew you were going to ask me this, and I should have had my answer prepared, but here we are. No, this weekend was good. I did do some work and still enjoyed some good relaxation, some R&R. Finish some books. So yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm definitely excited for this episode. I'm excited for every single episode, but I feel like in the weeks that have led up to today, I keep seeing so many people share that they're listening to the podcast, and every time I see it, it makes my heart so happy. So again, shameless plug, a review is amazing, but also tag us, show us where you're listening to the podcast. Like I will share, like I know Jessica will too. Like I'm gonna share it every time. Every time
Mhm.
you show me that you're listening to it, which then shameless plug for you guys, where you will then get exposed to our audience, which I mean is a win-win for everybody, I feel like. So
Yeah,
yeah, just thank you for
absolutely.
tuning in each week. We love you.
Yeah, we really do. We know we haven't met, but we are all internet besties at this very moment. So we're really happy just for you to be a part of our community. And Madeline and I were talking before we hit record, which I think we said like we would not do that because we share so many good things before that, but don't worry, we have an awesome show planned. But we've been seeing and just hearing from so many people, like within our lives and just people that we know and people that we know who are listening to the show. And I don't know, that's just really cool. I mean, I'm not trying to say like we're climbing the podcast charts right away, we're on our way, but it's just really awesome to have that feedback that Madeline mentioned and just to see where you're listening to the show, what your feedback is, because I think that's what makes a really great podcast when it's two-sided. So I think that's something that we'll probably keep kind of developing throughout the year.
Okay, side note, I actually meant to tell you this before. It's a good thing that we're recording it now because this was something I wanted to tell you. So a thought I had, maybe later this year, we can come up with a campaign where we ask our audience to show us again where they're listening to it, and like I don't know, like some giveaway, I don't even know, but I love
Mhm.
seeing when and where you guys are listening to the podcast because it makes me feel included in your routine. And I know for me, like I listen to podcasts as well. I'm always listening to a podcast when I get ready in the morning, and then
Yep.
also sometimes when I'm working out, but I kind of reserve my working out time for a show for Netflix, for a Netflix show. But you again, if you guys
Mhm.
know, you know, where it's like you get into that routine of like listening to a podcast in certain days, certain times, and I love that, and I love
Mhm.
being a part of your routine.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. We okay, well definitely we're both marketers. So we're already
I
gonna
know.
once we're done planning recording this episode, we're gonna jump off and just do a planning meeting for that campaign, which is so nice. But it's so fun to and if you guys are listening, you're probably in marketing or, want to be. And there's just something I love about this industry. I don't know, it's I don't call it nerdy, call it whatever, but it's so
Mhm.
fun to, like, think about all of the intricacies of campaigns and just how they come together, and one thing that you mentioned, Madeline, that you spent the weekend, like, resting and, like, finished up on reading. I know that's one thing that you and I both love is reading, and
Mhm.
Madeline, are you a Kindle girl or are you, like, a book girl?
I'm a physical book girly. Yes,
Okay.
Brennan, my husband has a Kindle. I'm just like I love the smell of a book and holding it in my
Mhm.
hand. And I think it might be too because like I'm on screens all day that I'm just like, eh.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna knock it. Like if somebody wants to send me a Kindle, I mean I would obviously take it. But it's just like
Yeah,
I'm such a physical book type of girly.
yeah. I agree, and I think that's so funny because I think we're so similar in some ways, and even, like, our husbands have some, like, similar, like, things as well, which I love, but so I am in 2023, I converted to a Kindle girly, and I don't know if I will ever go back, which
See,
is
some of my
crazy.
friends have said that. Some of my friends have
Yeah,
said that too.
yeah, and I'm the
Okay.
same way. I love a physical book, I love, like, holding the book, and I love taking it everywhere with me. Depending on what the book is, I will, like, write notes and I will mark it up and put all my Post-it notes and all the things in it, which I'm trying to learn. I know you can do that on Kindle, and I'm starting to do that a little bit. A bookstore is, like, my happy place.
Mm,
No matter
mhm,
if I'm going somewhere
mhm.
new, like, if my husband, Ryan, and I, whenever we're traveling somewhere, we're always, like I feel like we're kinda big foodies, but we're always going to a bookstore too. Not that we probably are gonna buy a book, but, like, we're doing it.
Same. Oh my gosh, same. When we moved down or, like, when we came to visit Charleston for the first time before deciding to move here, that was, like, on my list. I was like, "I want to go to find some indie bookstores to go to," and we went to a few,
Mhm.
like, oh my goodness. That's yes, I'm we just need a whole episode too about books because
Yes.
yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that we will work on that. That will be something that we plan to, but, anyway, long way that I was getting to this point. I also spent my weekend reading, and I have been reading, like, a ton of books lately, which is great. I feel like I'm finally back on the reading kick kind of post-holidays, and I actually am really into and I would love your take and opinion on this too, Madeline. I'm really into celebrity memoirs right now. Like, I
Girl, what are
cannot
you
even
reading?
okay,
Which one did you just read?
so I just finished Matthew Perry's, and I will say that is a very heavy one. But Friends is my all-time favorite show, it's my comfort show, so
Mm,
I'm really happy from reading it, just if you've read the ending, then you kinda know, but I'm also really sad from reading it, just, with everything
mhm,
that happened to Matthew Perry last year, and just his life made me really sad, and just, someone who makes you laugh so much, and
mhm.
again, Friends is my comfort show, like, if I don't have anything to watch, or honestly, if I'm just like, "You know what? I just need the TV on and I need to feel good," like Friends, or if I'm on a plane, Friends, like, that's what I'm watching.
I
So,
s
I did read that, and then right before that, I did read Britney Spears' memoir as
okay,
well.
so Matthews is on my TBR list right
Mhm,
now. Actually listened to Britney Spears's, and again, now I want to unpack that with you, but one that I
mhm,
read last year, because same, I love a good celebrity memoir, and I think so I read 60 books last year, and a lot of them were celebrity memoirs, and I think
mhm,
out of that category, who was my favorite? I'm drawing a blank on her name, but she played hang on, Harmony may have this might be a blooper. As I'm, like, looking this up, I'm like, Harmony might be like, also for those of you listening I feel like I need to shout out Harmony, who's our
mhm,
podcast producer, and I love her so much. Like, we both do, but
yeah.
anyways, shameless, like, shout out to you, Harmony, love you. Um, so I read, hang on, I'm looking it up. She played Lila in Friday Night Lights, Minka Kelly.
Yeah. Oh,
That one was deep. I learned so much about her. That was a
okay.
good one, and then also, I'm Glad My Mom Died, which that again, that
Oh,
title
yeah, Jeanette
from
McCurdy, that
Jennifer
one was
that one,
great.
yep.
Yeah, that
Mhm.
was great. Yeah, iCarly was my show growing up, which is also so funny because Zoe 101 was my show growing up, and then here I am reading Britney Spears' memoir, but, um
You know what one celebrity I need a memoir from? So, like you said, you're an iCarly girl.
mhm.
Amanda Bynes is my, like
Ooh.
she is
Yes.
who I credit my humor. Like, people again, maybe like, I think I'm funny and people do tell me I'm funny, but, like, I give credit to Amanda Bynes, like, watching Amanda Bynes growing up, and I'm just like,
Mhm,
right now, I just wanna be like, "Oh, I wanna love you right now," because I'm like,
mhm.
"Let's work through
Yeah,
that trauma. Let's work through
yeah.
that trauma."
I love that. Yeah,
So,
no,
yeah.
that would be I would pre-order that one in a
Yes.
heart for sure. Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. So yeah, I love that. And I love that you mentioned you read 60 books because I knew this about you. I think you shared it in like a caption or a reel a little while back. So I need to count how many books I read in 2023 because I know in 2023 I read the most books that I've ever read.
Mhm.
And I truly think it's thanks to my Kindle. And it's funny because I think I got my Kindle over the summer. So like May or June, I think I got it, so I even had a late start. So just we're recording this in January, and just again, if you guys are feeling down about January, also follow Madeline on Instagram, the Buzzing Blonde, because she just posted this maybe 30 minutes before we jumped on recording, and I loved it. But it basically showed like we're right here in the year, and there's so much year left. So I'm like, I needed that. And so again, if you guys aren't following her, definitely go follow. But I'm about to read a book that I think you've already read, Madeline, because I think you told me to read it. Glossy? Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
So good. I can't wait to I love this
Okay.
for us and our audience because I'm really hoping again, whereas we're you guys listening, it's cool to get to know you guys on that deeper level where it's like we could if we were to ever do ads, we could be like, "Oh, our bookish people, our
Mhm.
Swifties," like where it's like these like different tiers of our
Yes.
audience.
Yes.
Um so also I feel like after this episode, we should put in our stories too where it's like what's one book you would recommend that we should put on our to be read list,
Mhm.
one of your favorite books from last year, because yeah, I'm still
Yeah.
on a mission to keep like this again, like Jessica said, this reading is one of those things that I love. That is how I unwind. And at the
Yeah.
beginning of this year, I told myself I want to do hobbies that any hobby you can monetize, but I really want to lean into not monetizing a hobby 'cause just for fun.
Yes.
Again, of course,
Yeah.
I love making money. Yes, who doesn't love to make
Mhm.
money? But we need those things to just like shut our brains off.
Yeah.
Also, quick side note, I didn't know that you could mark up a Kindle, and I feel like that's what's been because I'm that girl who I love to mark up books, especially self-help books. So now you
Yes.
may have just sold me on a Kindle, actually.
Yes. Yeah, and I'll have to say and I don't know, so I don't know the exact name of my Kindle, but I have the most basic Kindle that you can buy just because I was like, "I don't really know if I'm gonna really get into it," but I got the Kindle, and then it's funny because I don't know if I had a Kindle, like, years and years ago, or maybe I downloaded the Kindle app, like, on my iPad or something, but I actually had, like, 2 or 3 books in my Kindle library. One was one that I think I've read a billion and one times, but Atomic Habits, which is just a great
Mm,
book. If
mhm,
anyone hasn't read it, definitely read it. Great book, especially for now in January. So I've
mhm.
reread that one, and I've read a couple more, and then I got Kindle Unlimited, which I've been loving just having access to so many books. I wanna say maybe it's like $9 per month, and so I feel like if I at least read 1 book a month, which I typically read at least 1 a week, I feel like it pays for itself. It's girl math. So the one way I'm, like, looking at it in that cost. But yeah, I agree. I love reading for winding down and just resting, relaxing, and, that's on mental health, which we'll talk about that once we get through our segment. So, yeah, let's start off with our water cooler segment. I think this is starting to become a fan favorite. That might be premature to say on our 3rd episode, but, um, I'm really liking this, water cooler segment. So, Water cooler segments are completely anonymous posts inside of our hashtag managed collective free Facebook community. So just search that in Facebook and join us if you haven't already. You can post anonymously and you'll get, of course, tremendous support from everyone in the group. But then we can read it here on the show as well. And I think they're just really great just to talk through. So this post starts out as, "Hey, social media managers, when's the best time to leave your full time job? I'm working with a client full time, and as the months go by, I realize we're not a great fit. I would really like to focus more on my business, plus clients I work for part time. But my problem is consistent cash flow. Having a full time job gives me a security net somehow, but working with this client full time is giving me so much anxiety, and I'm starting to lose motivation for work. Any advice you can give will definitely help. Thanks so much." Madeline, I would love if you would kick us off. What do you have to share?
I I feel like this was meant like, whoever you are, I want to give you the biggest hug because actually this has been on my mind. Actually, this is something I've been wanting to talk to even Jessica about. So that full transparency, that was the first time Jessica just reading that. I didn't know that was today's water cooler segment, but I love that it was because my business journey and social media manager journey, I don't think it's very different than Jessica's. I started my business while I was working at Adidas and similar to this, um, I had clients on the side. And so many people would ask me, when are you going to do the Buzzing Blonde full time? And I would always be like, oh, in the next 5 years, because again, it was that job security. But then things happened. One of those side clients asked me to come work for them full time. I decided to leave Adidas, went to work for that client. 2020 hit, trauma happened, and but then I got thrown into my business full time. That's been what I've been healing a lot through that because that is not I do not recommend that. I wish that upon nobody. Like being thrown into your business full time, like I wish it could have been on my terms, but it wasn't. And again, everything happened for a reason, but fast forward, and again, if you guys have been following me, you know that I right now I'm nannying. Like I in the past 5 years, like I've gone back and forth between having a 9 to 5 and having side clients with my business to then going again back full time. And right now, this is actually something Jessica doesn't know. And it's you guys are hearing it first actually on the podcast. And I kind of love that because I kind of like the idea of sharing more personal stuff with you guys on the podcast. Yes, I'm going to share personal stuff on the Buzzing Bond, but this is a platform that I'm able to be more transparent with you guys. So, where I'm going with this, I'm currently nannying, but back in November, I was asked to I promise we're going to bring it back to that advice, but again, I'm hoping me sharing my story with you guys is like you relate to it because it is very similar. And so I'm nannying, but back in November, a boutique reached out to me that I had interviewed with back in April of 2023. And I actually had been thinking where I love the family I nanny for. Like it's breaking my heart that that I'm going back to the Buzzing Blonde more full time. So anyways, they reached out to me. I decided, okay, it's time that I step away from nannying and go back into the Buzzing Blonde full time, but it's going to be more so in house marketing. Well, funny enough, last week, another company reached out to me. And right now, with the boutique, I'm on a 3-month trial, where it's like my hope originally at the beginning of the year, I was like, okay, if I like it enough, like I will then go into it full time. Like there's been talks of a higher position, whatever.
Mhm.
But then this week, I had an interview or a quick phone interview with this clothing company. And who knows? I'm going to hear from them by the end of this week. But where I'm going with this is just when I was on that phone call. with the clothing company, giving them my life story of, like, because they knew nothing about me. They were like, "Tell me about your experience." I'm
Mhm,
turning 30 this year, and my confidence in the past couple of years just with everything has it's not been the best. It hasn't. But on this
mhm.
phone call, you guys, I was like, "Oh my gosh. This is all those horrible things, like all those hard times that I went through has prepared me for this." And like as I was talking to them on the phone, I'm like, "I'm kind of awesome." Like, not to sound but I seriously, I was just, like,
I love that.
I went into my Adidas experience and I was just like, "Wow, actually I have like a lot of experience in e-commerce." Like I was building these 3D images to go on adidas.com and I was making these catalogs. And again, this clothing company, like obviously they need help in marketing for e-commerce and I also have wholesale. So in conclusion, in short, my best piece of advice of like when to know when to leave your bit, like do it. I would tell that's my point is I started my business with $500. Is that ideal? No, I would have loved to have more. But I am truly one of those people who believe the universe will provide for you and it has your back. Scary.
Mhm.
It is scary, but again, where if you're brave enough to start your own business, like you're gonna figure it out because you're like there we have no option. And also like failure is good. Again, that is something that I have really struggled with. And if you've listened to the other podcast episodes, have followed me, like I talk about this a lot, where our society, I think, has just brainwashed. Like we're so scared of failure, but like failure is what got me here. Failure is what gave me the confidence to be like, hang on, I'm actually awesome. Let me tell you how awesome I am on this call. So I hope yeah, that was kind of a Maddie tangent, I'm sorry.
No, I love that, and I, like, have goosebumps from when you said that you were, like, on the call. "No, I'm awesome," and I have all of this experience because I think that's something Madeline and I have been having, like, several conversations in planning for, hashtag managed and everything that will happen from that. We've honestly been just talking about, like, our business and personal, professional goals for 2024, and to put it lightly, and I know we shared this in episodes past, so definitely listen if you haven't, but 2024 is our year, and we're
Mhm.
claiming it. I mean, I think, on TikTok, the whole phrase of it is, right? Like, just be delusional until you've got it, or I'm butchering that, but I hope you've seen that where it's be so delusional that you have it and you will have it. I think that's such a big thing that I too agree. Like you'll never truly know when the best moment will be until you are actually in that moment, like Madeline on that phone call, like feeling that. And obviously, that came at a certain point in her business. And even for myself, I got thrown into doing social savvy. I was so scared to one, have a side hustle while working a full time job. So I never did it. And should I have maybe done it? Because it would have maybe gave me a little bit of somewhat of a safety net. I hear from this water cooler segment that you do have some part-time clients. So lean into those clients. And I think it's so important to say that when you cut ties with clients who do not fulfill what you're trying to reach, whether that's more income, whether it's more impact, whether it's just a different business, maybe you're just not passionate about that industry anymore, or maybe they're just not a great client. They're treating you like an employee and they're making you go crazy for lack of better words. When you cut them out, yes, it will cut that money out of your business, but you can replace money. You We can replace money. You cannot replace, and I think that really ties into our whole, we keep dropping hints, but once we get to the theme of this episode around mental health, you can't replace your mental health. We only have one mind, and it's incredible. And if we're letting a client just tear us down and just getting anxiety and being stressed out, we need to cut ties. You'll replace that money. You will. I hope you know you
Mhm.
will. Like, Madeline and I are your biggest cheerleaders. And if you need even more, another shameless plug, join the hashtag managed collective Facebook group. I mean, we have 18,000 other cheerleaders in there who will definitely lift you up and support you as well in this time.
And I don't think we talk enough about this as social media managers is client, and this was something in the beginning actually of starting my business, and I'm curious to know if you felt the same way too, Jessica, where you're going to lose clients. You're going to fire clients. You're probably going to get fired from clients. Like
Yeah.
it is what it is, but, like, I hear a lot of my salon clients say this, my hairstylist clients say this actually, and it was good advice for me to hear is, like, we don't own our clients. Like, I could go to another hairstylist where also I can't manage everybody's social media. Like, that is
Mhm.
physically, mentally impossible, and also I wouldn't want to, like, that's why you gotta find your people you vibe with, and I my mom growing up would always be like, "Not everybody's gonna like you in this world, just like you're not gonna like everybody too, or just vibe with them."
Mhm.
And it is scary, but one thing I will say too that has kind of given me comfort is creating that wait list, where it's like, and so here's some advice for you as well, where decide I wish I would have I again, this is something I wish I would have done earlier on in my career, is decide how many social media clients you can take at what level. So, like, let's say you have 3 clients at $2,000, and again, maybe that's a goal you work because again, we're all underpaid. I'm sorry. We all know it. We are. But
Mhm.
let's go for, like, you want 3 clients at $2,000 a month. Your content that you're creating, be like, I've got X amount of openings for Q, and do by quarters. That again, something that I wish I would have done earlier on. And
Yeah.
one other thing I want to mention too that ties into this is please notice that I'm saying, like, again, Jessica has an agency. I'm just myself. I aspire to be Jessica. Like, but I've also realized that my journey is not going to be like, actually, like, where I joke with her, I'm like, she's my boss. Like, actually, she is my boss. But it's one of those things where just know too, where I don't wanna say the word envious because it's like, I'm, like, so proud of you, but it's, like, one of those things where if you are in my shoes
Mhm.
too, because sometimes it's like you kinda want that agency, but I'm kind of realizing, "No, no, Maddie, like, the universe wants you to," and I keep saying universe, but I'm sorry, I am a woo-woo person. But,
Mhm.
like, I'm realizing that, no, I think I'm meant to be that social media manager for the social media managers out there who actually enjoy being more in-house and maybe
Yeah.
don't wanna have an agency. Because again, there's so many avenues, and I think maybe in the beginning, when I started The Buzzing Blonde, I wanted an agency, and maybe I do one day, but also, LOL, the fact that I created a business, The Buzzing Blonde, like, I
Yeah.
love my business, where it's like people I
Mhm.
am the buzzing blonde, but,
Yeah.
if I were to have an agency, yeah, we'd have to come up with a different name because it's not all about me.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely, and I think that's spot on advice. Every point to having that wait list, to promoting that you're able to work with clients, and just being really clear on what you want. And I think it's definitely okay to, and I know even, the team that we have, we're team social savvy. That's how I like reference us and in that context. And so the team that we have, we've gone through phases too as an agency where we've leaned into passive income. And we're
Mhm.
leaning into management. And honestly, we're leaning into content creation. We're like pivoting into that way, insert, Ross from Friends meme pivot. And so, you can always kind of pivot in different ways. And so I think this is a really beautiful natural segue to having that wait list, promoting that buzz, no pun intended, around your services into our Show Me the Numbers segment. We're going to do email edition. If you listen to our 2024 trends episode, you know that we're predicting a big thing in 2024 that you need to grow. It's not your views on Instagram Reels, it's not your TikTok followers, but it's your email list. And so I wanted to dive into the numbers that we have at Social Savvy for our email list because it is a roller coaster, and I'll get into that. And then I want to talk about email platforms, and I have some cool data from the platform that Madeline and I both use for email marketing. So use this as a time. The best time to start your email list is right now. If you don't have one, start it now. Start it as a wait list for your services. You don't need to offer crazy lead magnets and crazy expectations for what you'll email your list. You don't need to do any of that. And so we can go into some specifics, but our email list is split into 2 parts. So, I call it HQ, which is our management side of the agency, and the collective, which is our social media manager, passive side of the business. And so, over on the collective side, if you listened to last week's episode, I talked about the growth, or maybe it was 2 episodes now. I We're getting so ahead of ourselves in episodes, I can't remember the specifics. But anyway, I talked about the growth of the Facebook community with 11,000 new members in 2023, which is absolutely insane. I dive a little bit into that strategy in one of those previous episodes. So go listen to both if you haven't. And so, with that, one of the questions to join the Facebook group is, do you want to join our email list? Simple as that. And that saw an increase of 3,249 email subscribers. So currently, our list for social media managers is 5,337. And so that was taken at the very end of December. So that number could be a little higher, could be a little bit lower. People unsubscribe. That's how email works. We don't need to take it as personally as our Instagram follower count, which is hard to do as a business owner. But over on our agency side, this is the email list that probably saw the most neglect in 2023 because we did focus so heavily on passive social media manager, education, value on that side. And so our email list is still large because it's been growing since 2018. So, disclaimer on that. And we've done different paid ad campaigns in the past to really grow the email list. So, we currently have 6,114 people. Again, at that December 2023 mark, we actually lost 2,569 subscribers in 2023. So at the height of that email list, I don't have the specific month, I didn't put it here in my recording notes of when it was, but at the height of 2023, we had 10,838 people on the email list. So we cleaned out from that number. We segmented, okay, who of these 10K people are social media managers? Because we want to give them different content. Email marketing works better when it's super segmented. That's probably topic for another podcast. And we also wanted to clean out people who were inactive, who didn't want to get our emails anymore, and who might have been spam or typos or whoever in the email list to just be in good email list health. So, just wanted to share that while that growth was awesome for the email list, we also saw a lot of clean out and just a decline in numbers. And sometimes that's okay. That to me, we're going into 2024 with a healthier email list. And I actually want to keep cleaning it out in terms of segmenting who are people who should just be like our podcast people, who are people who are social media managers from the Facebook group, who are people who are on the agency side who one of two avenues will hire us or will never hire us because that's okay to know too, but just to have those numbers and better understanding so I can make some better decisions as a business owner. So in 2023, we also switched from Kartra, which is it's a big online marketing funnel tool. It's very clunky. I'm very happy to be out of it. We're in
It gives me
Flowdesk.
anxiety. Like, I tried ca I think that was one of the first things I tried when I first started my business, and you just nailed it, where it overwhelmed me.
Mhm.
Like, I'm pretty good at
Yeah.
figuring new platforms out, even, like, building new website, because you can build a website with it too, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, no,
yeah,
it gave me anxiety. It gave me anxiety,
yeah,
but I know people who thrive with it and love it, but it's not for me, not for me.
yes, yeah. So it definitely has some awesome features. But I don't know if it was 2020 or 2019, whenever Flowdesk launched its beta, I remember signing up for it and thinking, okay, I can get behind this platform. This is a
Mhm.
beautiful email platform. Now, the only reason I did switch out of it is again kind of going back to that theme of we did do that slight pivot into a more passive side. So we had selling courses and memberships and digital products. At the time, Flowdesk did not have great capabilities for that. Kartra did, even though it was super clunky, but we also had to hire a team member to help with that. Topic for another day. So we're back in Flowdesk. I'm super happy about it because one, I have a clear understanding of the emails that we can send. Two, I think it's great in terms of keeping up with our brand aesthetics. I think we have a great brand. And so that
Mhm.
was being lost in every email inside of Kartra. And I don't remember the specific stat, but email marketing has a much higher ROI, so return on investment, than a social media post. So that mattered to me that our emails did not look great. And it was, again, limitations of that platform. So Flowdesk just released, it's on their blog, and we're working on a blog post just kind of sharing our takes on it too. But they're sharing 2024 trends. So I, of course, had to download the white paper that they shared with all of the details of the 2024 trends. But I wanted to share four really important stats from 2023 that I think can really give you a good insight into email. And Madeline, did you want to add something? I saw like
I just wanna say this is not sponsored, but it should be, so, like, Flowdesk, if you wanna, hey,
Mhm.
we love you, because I use it as well, and before you go into that, the design element, so again, graphic design background here, your girly, and that's the
Mhm.
biggest reason why I love Flowdesk, but also super easy to use. Also
Yeah.
was started by 2 best friends, I'm pretty sure they're best friends,
Okay.
so again, love supporting like a woman business, and they created it because again, they were, I believe, in marketing and just like didn't like any of the email platforms that were out there, and we're just like, you know what, we're gonna create our own. So okay,
Yeah.
continue.
Oh,
But
I love
yeah,
that. I love that. Good
shout
to
out to
know that.
Flowdesk.
Yes. Shout out to Flowdesk. We love Flowdesk over at #ManagePod. And so 4 stats that I think are really important because I think, so many people are so focused on what social media platform should I join, and is it too late to join TikTok, and can I do this? And so just it's never too late to do anything that is going to be a great marketing tool for your business, including emails. So, Floda said that the average email sending frequency for weekly emails was only 12% across their users. That is super low for a weekly email. And so, of our two email segments, we send a Tuesday newsletter and we send a Friday newsletter. Tuesdays to our HQ side, Fridays to our social media manager side. And so that was really, really interesting. They also shared that 6% share once per month, 18% shared multiple times per month. So from that, I'm sure people are sending maybe 2 emails per month. But the statistic that stood out to me the most, Madeline, and that I had to share and I had to save the best for last, 63.3% of Flowdesk users in 2023 sent less than one per month, which is
Mind blowing.
amazing to me that that is such a high statistic. Now, it's a high statistic. Does it surprise me? No. I think email is always going to be the last thing that any business owner is going to send out, which I think makes it such a great tool for 2024. So, Madeline, I know that was the big trend that you shared on our trends episode. So, I'd love to know, is there anything that you want to add to that? Any stats that stood out to you, or like just your thoughts around those?
So it actually doesn't support the last one you just said, because actually when I shared that, I don't know, a past client had reached out to me on stories. And oh, I think it was because actually, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I'm part of that. Like I didn't really did not send out emails last year. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. And so like
Mhm.
that's why I think for me, because I was like, no, Maddie, it's time to step it up because again, I'm a marketer. I know how important emails are. And again, the ROI. It is undeniable, unbeatable, like it is what it is. And this past client reached out to me and she was like, "Yep, no more." So she was like, "I need to step up the email game." I'm like, "Let's go, girl. Let's go." And I just want to add a quick, if you guys are wondering, like, "Ooh, how can I grow my email list via social media?" Create content around that, where it's like your call to actions, DM me, DM email to add them to the list, or and talk about like what do you include on that newsletter. Start, like, again, it's never too late. Hi,
Mhm,
hello, we can be in this together. Also, if you want to be on my email list, like, DM me, email. We'll go with that. That's a great call to action. DM me, email, and I'll add you to
mhm,
it. But I'm learning to love email again. I've always loved email marketing, but
mhm.
again, I get it though. Again, as social media managers, like, we have so many things. And again, if you're a solopreneur, like, it's just you, one man show, I
Yep,
get you guys. I get it. But it can be fun. Make it be fun again. It is fun. And
mhm.
again, Flowdesk, highly, highly, highly recommend.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. No, I think that's such a big important thing. So, I know we talked about, email marketing for 2024. Lean into it. It's going to be really, really big. So, we'll definitely keep talking about email because of course, we got to keep talking about our 2024 trends. We're podcasters. So, okay. If you know, you know, social media managers, we speak in TikTok audios. So,
Mhm.
but let's dive into our third and final segment, which Madeline and I have been DMing different ideas for this segment. We have so much to share, and then, of course, we have to actually get into the episode. But I want to talk about the movie that is taking over. And I'm not talking about Barbie because I still feel like we are still feeling the ripple effects of Barbie and I'm loving it. But Mean Girls. Mean Girls recently came out in theater, and Mean Girls is actually under fire for product placements. And so I've been seeing so many people talking about how product placements is going to be a really huge part of 2024 trends, predictions, marketing, kind of talk about the quote unquote rise and fall and just change of influencer marketing in general. And so I have not seen Mean Girls at this moment. I wasn't planning on seeing it, but after seeing this and seeing all of the buzz online about it, I might actually go see it because I need to know and I need to report back to the people on what I'm seeing. But Mean Girls is under fire for improper product placement. And so one thing that really stood out to me is elf products is what most people are talking about in terms of Regina George using an elf lip oil and really leaning into that. And so out of, again, I'm not a beauty guru, but I do consume a lot of beauty content and spend a lot of money at Sephora and Ulta. So I will say I don't understand why and who made that decision for Elf to step in the Mean Girls movie. And I actually heard that from a lot of other people talking about the movie that they thought that a lot of pop culture references and just modernization of the film was done really, really well, which, as we know, doesn't always happen. So I'm a little disappointed that this is kind of the buzz that we're getting from the Mean Girls movie, maybe because Barbie set the bar so high with their marketing. But Madeline, have you heard this? What's your take on it?
I've heard everything you just said. I've heard the same thing, and I actually just pulled up their social media, and I'm not trying to hate on I'm really not. I love supporting social media managers, but I'm just like, they hit a mark. Like, literally, I'm looking at the main feed and I only see like two, like, again, if you're watching, like, Jessica can see, like, I'm showing her my phone right now, but, like, there's two things that make a nod to the Mean Girls where it looks like the burn book, and I'm just like,
Mhm.
ugh, I feel like the entire feed should be hot pink right now,
Yeah.
and, ugh, I hate, oh, that makes me sad. Like, because 'cause you're just like,
Yeah.
"Oh." But
Yeah.
no, but similar. And I think too with the product placement, because we even talked about this on our 2024 trends. We talked about how even the getting ready with us videos, where people aren't going to show you, they're not going to show you what they're using. It's just going to be product placement of like maybe even hiding w- what brand they're using, because they want you to kind of question like, what lip gloss is that? And just, it surprises me because like, we have become the generation who, like, we hate like, if it's, like, straight up like, "Ooh, I'm drinking, an Alani," like, where it's like, no, we don't like that. Gen
Mhm,
Z especially does not like that, and I'm similar to Jessica, I have not seen it, um, 'cause I feel for me too, like, Mean Girls is just has such a special place in my heart, like, I'm a true millennial. And
mhm,
I did see the musical, um, I'm not gonna lie to you, I am like, again, I was a theater kid, and I'm not gonna lie, Mean Girls the musical was not my favorite musical too, so I think that's also why I am dragging my feet on going to see it,
mhm.
but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so needless to say, we're disappointed in the the product placement. It could have been so much better. So I would love to hear if you guys have DM us on Instagram if you've seen the movie, what's your take, and maybe we'll do a post. That would be a really awesome discussion thread of
Mm,
what
mm, mhm.
products. And again, I think there's so many room for products in so many industries. What would you have placed in the new Mean Girls movie? I think that would be a really fun post. So stay tuned for that. We'll hopefully can get that up in time, and have that up for discussion for this episode. But I think there's been a lot of talk about beauty products on social media recently. Madeline, do you want to add anything else?
Yes, so on my feed, so if you guys are on Beauty Talk, you know there was some tea. There was some drama this past weekend slash week between a very big beauty influencer and a small company. And this small company may or may not have been a past client of mine. And so again, this episode's going to be very much if you know, you know. If you really really want to know, DM me and I will tell you. Again, I don't think this client was maybe 2 months at most, and love them, do, but just the tea that went on, yikes. Yikes. So, I'm not gonna name names, but the point is, if you are going to work with, again, so this is for my social media managers out there who are working with a lot of small businesses who are wanting to start to market on TikTok. I've talked about this multiple times. Jessica and I have made this comment multiple times. You've got to talk to your clients about going viral, and if that is the case, making sure that they have enough product to be able to make those orders. But also, you have got to have a contract, and you cannot expect these bigger influencers who say they will review your you can't bank on that. You can't.
Mhm.
As much as I would love to, like, that would be
Y
awesome.
yeah.
But that is their job. Like, that is how they are paying their bills, and it was just a lot. Like, it was just a so, how I even so obviously I'm on TikTok, but it took one of my friends, actually, she texted me, she goes, "Oh my gosh, are you on TikTok right now? Like, do you see this?" And I was like, "No, what? Oh my gosh." Immediately ran to TikTok, and I was like, mouth to the ground, mouth to the ground. And of course, then I like send it to Jessica, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, we are talking about this on the pod. We are like, oh my gosh, drama, tea, uh, tea time." And again, in the beauty industry, so like I'm telling you guys that this TikToker is big. I She's not my favorite anymore. She really was like, I do love her, but she controversy
Mhm.
too. Here's the other
Yeah,
thing. I
yeah.
think this client was leaning into, and honestly is leaning into, bad publicity is still publicity. I ver he
Mhm.
They are very much that type of client,
Yeah,
and again, I was a PR major. That is one tactic, like, in PR, like, I don't agree with. Like, I That's
yeah.
kind of also
I agree.
why I feel like we separate, like, it just was a lot.
Mhm.
So, in conclusion, I would have advised very differently of how
Yeah,
to go about that topic.
agree,
I
agree,
hope
and
I hope I did this segment justice, and I really am hoping that a lot of you guys know, and like I said, if you don't know, like, I will, like, I'm not gonna gatekeep that, like,
mhm.
I really they're not the we Jessica and I, yes, we're awesome, but we're also, like, I'm personally not, like, the TikToker, you know?
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And so, yeah, and so I'll say too, like I consume a lot of beauty content and follow a lot of beauty influencers, but I myself don't find that well, I was not following this beauty influencer. Um I think regardless if you do or not, you have seen them on your For You page. You probably have seen this video or at least the start of the TikTok fight over there, but yeah, needless to say that not all PR is good PR. I think that's just a really important thing that take away for your clients, take away if you're a business owner, and to have a contract in everything that you do online. Just absolutely necessary.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And this also goes to show too, where sometimes you have those clients where, sometimes you fire the client and sometimes you get fired. So,
Yeah.
again, sometimes you
Yeah.
dodge a bullet. Sometimes you
Yes.
dodge a bullet.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And sometimes they fire you. And
Mhm.
then it's like, "Hey, thank you, universe, for allowing me to not be the one cleaning up this mess," because that can certainly happen. So, yeah, definitely something to consider. And so, leaning into our topic for today, I know we've hinted at it a little bit, but mental health and social media. I think this was such an important topic that I know I struggle with at times. I know Madeline does as well. I know we talk about it. So we want to just have an open dialogue. And this will probably be a dialogue that we have throughout the year and just forever on the podcast because it's so important as a business owner, whether you have people that are in your support system for your business, whether you have, online besties, which you have us, so you do. There's always someone that you can send a DM to when you're just need to press record and just vent for a good 90 seconds. You can certainly always do that to us. But when it comes to being social media managers, we are on social media so much. So I think it's so important to talk about maybe a few ways that we just really help boost our mental health. And so for me, I know I talked about when we both love reading, so leaning into reading. I've gotten into celebrity memoirs. They are like I can't stop putting them down at this moment. I also love a good thriller. I also to part of thrillers, I just love a good easy read. For me, I'm one of those people who has to check things off my list. And so when I can check off a book, I'm like, I'm on top of the world, it makes me feel so much better. So if I am ever just in a rut or just feeling down or just like, man, I'm so burnt out or on the verge of feeling burnt out, I'm probably going to read a Frida McFadden novel. And if you guys haven't read Frida McFadden, you'll love. I recommend it to anyone and everyone. I feel like I can always find some sort of like avenue that I can recommend a Frida McFadden novel to someone. So for me, reading, taking time off away. And the other thing for that is my screen time is going to be high for what I'm doing. I'm going to say this in a nice way, but I actually don't care about my screen time. I think because I do it for work, I'm never trying to set a goal to do less or do that or whatnot. And I think I set really great boundaries with when and how I get on my phone and get on Instagram, get on TikTok, get on social media. So just being really, really strict with your boundaries and just sticking to them. But Madeline, is there anything that you have that helps you, or any advice around mental health and social media, or just anything that helps you get through it?
Yes. So I would say similar to Jessica, like my screen time is obviously super high. But my phone is the majority of the time on do not disturb because and that has a lot to do with my ADHD. I get like again, I think this is common for social media managers in general, maybe not, but hopefully you guys relate to this where I'm actually the worst texter. I'm trying to be better about it, but honestly, my best friends know where I'm like, I'm really not trying to ignore you. It's just like one of those things where like yes, I am on my phone, but I'm working. And so, like, I'm not going to respond because, like, me taking the time to then I'm having to take my mental energy and, like, switch, which I'm already doing, going
Mhm,
from app to whatever. So, having my phone on do not disturb has just, like, has comforted me because again, where I'm trying to be better about responding, but I'm also not gonna apologize because my friends who know, they know, where it's just like but I have in the
mhm,
past had some acquaintances and even clients where I'm just like, "Yo, like, you need to calm down. You need
mhm.
to chill out."
Yeah.
But so I would say my phone on do not disturb. I've also started to I have a hard stop at 8, like, turning my not turning it off, but, like, putting it in the other room to start my night routine, of, like, my skincare, and again, I like to read 10 pages of a book, um, every day.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, one that I would like to start to implement that I can't remember where I saw this, I think it was on Instagram, and I can't remember the social media manager who posted about it. But they were like, "Let's normalize out of office, messages, like, not just, like, on vacation, but, like, like, if you're in a
Like the
busier season."
24/7 one? Is that
Yeah,
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 I love
kind of,
I
like, and I g
yeah. I actually want to do that, so maybe we work together and we could
I
write one together and both, like, turn
yes.
it on at the same time. Yeah, I really wanna do that because actually a few clients that I work with have that, and every time I see it from them, I'm just like, "I love that. I want that for me." So,
Well,
I
because
think
to
that that
me
could be so helpful. Yeah.
no, and to me, I've had this conversation with a few clients in the past and friends. I'm like, when did like I understand the responding in 24 hours, but sometimes I'm just like, dang, like I'm sorry, but like I am and again, not saying that being busy is a bad I'm not trying to be like that's a badge of honor, but like
Mhm,
can we, like, acknowledge that back in the d like, literally the 90 like, where it's like, who decided that like, responding within 24-hour business hours? Like,
mhm.
that's can we make it 48? Because, like, to me, 24 I'm like, "I'm busy, like, I'm sorry." Like, it's
Yeah,
not
I love
I'm not a surgeon. Like, there it's not life or death. Like, let's just take a deep breath.
yeah.
So anyway, so yeah, the out of office and then honestly just so Thursday nights are one of my favorites. So I do and again, you guys probably have seen on TikTok like the everything shower. I'm very much a bubble bath girl. So like I love taking a bubble bath on a Thursday night. Obviously because again, I some people are like, "Ew, bubble baths are gross." I trust me, I take a shower
Mhm,
afterwards, but like I love a bubble bath. And like I've gotten into the Sleepy Girl mocktail, highly
mhm.
recommend.
Mocktail
Um,
season, love it.
yeah, mhm. So, like, I love that so that I'm trying, like, to make that every Thursday. I try. I haven't the past couple of Thursdays, but and then Fridays. So Fridays for me I love again, this is the beauty of having your own business where I love to go to Trader Joe's on Friday. Like I love it. It's almost like my weekend. For me, my Fridays are probably the typical Saturday for people, but like I love getting those errands done on a Friday. I don't feel rushed. And then
Yeah,
on Saturday, I can wake up, work out, like, I don't have to think because again, like, t in my brain, in my ADHD brain, like, those are tasks. I'm like you, I love to check things off. And so
mhm.
if I can check them off on a Friday, then I feel like I honestly have my weekend to do anything, and I'm about to be 30. Like, I'm not a girly who's like, "Let's go." No, I'm literally such a homebody, and people are like, "You're such an extrovert." I'm like, "Joke's on you because I actually have to recharge my batteries with me time."
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. No, I love that. Okay, so 2024 is the year of the 48-hour response on emails, setting up a
Mm-mm.
24/7 out of office reminder for our emails just to share those boundaries, that 48-hour window, just, "Hey, here's what's happening." I'm the same way. I don't remember when I did it, but a couple of months ago, I every time and so I am not an Apple Watch girl. I probably could wear it again because I could probably set better boundaries and limit notifications and all of those things, but I just for that reason, I have not been an Apple Watch girl, and I've always felt like I was left out of that just I'm left out of that community, and so but on my phone, just my email. Not even my work email, yes, but also my personal email, which is probably, like 20 emails from Sephora a day and like, random places that I bought from once and all the things. But every time I would get an email pop up on my phone, I would see it on my notification center, I would see it on my screen kind of come down as a badge. I would just completely like a switch would flip and it immediately would put me in a bad mood. And it might actually be a good email. It could be like, "Hey, client signed proposal, paid the first invoice." But then I'm like, a million things start running through my head. So I turned off my notifications on my email. I don't get any notifications on my email. I don't even see that I have any. I'll just click into
Mhm.
it on my certain times that I want to, which has been so hard to get into, but so freeing. And it sounds so simple saying it out loud. And then same thing for Slack because we use Slack as a team and we do Slack for some client communication as well. I'll do the same thing. And then the last part of that is if I am taking a long weekend, if I'm taking time off, if I'm actually on a vacation and I just actually need to, I'm deleting the Gmail and the Slack app from my phone. And I
Mm.
delete it.
Mhm.
I don't just remove from home screen.
Mhm.
I'm deleting. There is no reason why I need to do it. I have probably planned all the social posts ahead of time. I've done all my communication. Everyone knows what's up. They know when I'm back. There's no reason for me to go into it. And I know too, sometimes, especially if I were to get an email during that period, it might just be maybe my client is overwhelmed and they want to clean out their inbox and send an email over to me. So, again, everyone has their own way with email, but delete the app when you're away, and turn off the notifications. They're not necessary. And I think that is just so simple, but so helpful.
I have so much trauma around the email notification sound, like, even to like,
Mhm.
I same, I've
Yep.
turned off those notifications because of the amount of anxiety I would, because my mind would just go to the worst possible scenarios, like, I don't even know why, but,
Mhm.
like, I'm trying to, like, work on my relationship with email, where it's like, I
Yes.
do again, I love email, so, like, it's, like, old school, I'm like, I love receiving snail mail, so I'm like, again, where it's, like, our corporate like, where it's just, like, running
Mhm.
people's lives, and I'm like, No. Okay, like,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
no."
Yeah. No, I think that's perfect. Setting those boundaries with email. The last thing I wanted to share that I think can really help with I think it's related to like mental health and our phones and all of that. Is just giving myself permission to and I'm trying to think of the best way to articulate this, but giving myself permission to set more boundaries whenever I feel like I need to set them, say no to things when I feel like I need to say no, and to not give in to what I think I should be doing. Because I feel like I should all the time. Like I should all over the place in terms of everything that I need to do. And I'm creating this in my own head. I'm creating, oh, I need to do all these things. It's January 2024. I'm so behind. I need to do all these things. But who says I'm behind? I'm saying I'm
Mhm.
behind. So why am I saying I'm behind? Same for like when I get an email that comes in. Who really says that we need to respond right away? I do. I need this weird thing that I need either my inbox cleaned out or emails replied to. So, yeah, just giving myself permission to not lean into any of those things because and I've slowly started doing it. I mean, it's only, the middle 3rd week of January now, and everything's fine. Nothing has blown up. So, I think that permission sometimes we just need that permission slip.
Yeah, and I'll add one other thing too to that. So, the last thing that I've been doing to make like, for my mental health is every week I will like go through my calendar and like I ask the initial response. So I'll be like, me looking at my calendar, an overview, does it fill me with joy or dread? Because it's
Mhm.
I think it might Jenna Kutcher might have mentioned this, like, I don't know where I heard this, but it was one of
Yeah.
those things where you wanna make sure that you enjoy your calendar. So, let's
Mhm.
say I was out and about and somebody's like, "Oh, you wanna grab a drink?" It rather because normally I'm like, "Yes," like, I'm in that moment, I'm like, "Oh my gosh," like, "Yes, I do." But instead, I say now where I'm like, "Let me get back to you," because it's like, if I like, seriously, let me actually look at my calendar and, like,
Yes.
because I can't like, I'm seriously am that person where right now am in a very busy season of life. I am nannying. I'm transitioning, like, going back, like, having multiple clients, and, yes, I do wanna make time for my community here in Charleston and friends down here and whatnot, but, like, I am very much, like, I enjoy my me time. Like,
Mhm.
and also I'm in that stage of life where no, we're not like, I know I'm gonna eventually be planning for a family, and I think that's honestly subconsciously in the back of my mind where I'm honestly trying to really enjoy this time right now of, like,
Yeah.
not having, like, multiple people's calendars to maintain, you know? So, I'm
Yeah.
really
I like that.
working like, loving my like, my schedule.
Yeah. I like that. I like that. That's so simple, but I think sometimes I know I'm the same way. Like, I will book up my calendar in things. And so one thing that I'm starting to do, because I am such a Google Calendar girl, like
Same.
I stick to it so much. I am starting to, and I've always had in like if I am going to do like a workout here, workout there, if I'm going to do like a walk, if I'm going to do anything like that. But I'm starting to put more of like not only cuz I feel like I'm really good at routines. I'm a great person for routines. I always keep up with them. But I'm starting to put in more things that are fun for me. And so I don't know, it kind of goes into what you were saying, how leaning into more hobbies that aren't necessarily, like, revenue generating. So, I love to read. Another thing that I have not done yet, I wanna take an art class. I love to paint. I don't know if I've ever, like, actually
Same,
shared that. Okay.
same.
I
Yeah,
love
same.
like, okay, maybe we'll do, like, a paint Zoom night then, because 'cause I'm like, I cannot, like,
Yeah.
commit to an art class, but I am trying to really put more things like that in my calendar. So 2 things that I've been doing now, because 'cause I'm like, "Let me do something simple and something that I know I can do beyond reading," of course, having reading in. But I've been putting in Pinterest time. Like, I've been calling it, like, just literally Pinterest time. Like, when
Yeah.
I just go
Mhm.
on Pinterest and I just give myself permission to, like, and I've been pinning super fun things. Like, we have a couple of, like, weddings coming up this year, so I'm, like, trying to pin some inspiration for what am I gonna wear? How do I wanna feel? Like, I'm trying to be, like, that into that. It's been fun for creativity, and then I feel like, I'm still kind of leaning into marketing, I'm seeing all this stuff, right? But it's fun, and I'm, like, curating these things, and I'm also really I don't know, I just got on this kick, but I'm, like, really in, like, a magazine era right now where I don't know why, but I love when Madeline and I are on the same page because our eyes, like we just, like, instantly light up, like, "Yes, this is it. This is the era." I'm in a magazine era, and there's something to me, like, just flipping through a magazine and just taking the time to read and just see and just enjoy the creativity of a magazine spread right now. I don't know, it's so small, but I have been putting that in my calendar, and I've been doing that, honestly, the past, like, couple of days, and it's been so fun just to somewhat ease into creativity. And I don't really know if, like, magazining and Pinterest pinning are hobbies, but, like, they are my creative outlets right now. So, adding
No,
more of those into my calendar.
That is where I get so much of my inspiration. Like, we have good ideas, and I will say a lot of my ideas stem from, like, flipping through a magazine and, like,
Yeah.
from a design element, like, because again, where you can incorporate that into your graphics for your own social media, and I think we oftentimes forget, again, not we, but, like, my clients, I use this example all the time for clients. I especially for the beauty industry, I'm like, you need to think of your content in terms of like magazine headlines. What do women, because again,
Yeah.
women would flip through magazines when they would go to the
Mhm.
salon, and like, so the whole like 8 beauty hacks, like, yeah, has it been done? Yes. Like, it makes me think of Meryl Streep, like florals for fall,
Mhm.
groundbreaking.
Mhm.
But at the same time, like, you're gonna always see florals during the spring. It's just like, what twist can you
Yeah.
add to it? But I we definitely need a Pinterest episode too, because yes, I
Mhm.
love
I love
Pinterest.
that. I love that. I love that. And just that we're on the same page. But I love
Mhm.
that. So we have a lot of planning to do for some fun episodes, but I figured we're getting to a little bit of a longer episode. So would love to hear, do you guys love these longer episodes? Also, Harmony, we love Harmony. We hope this episode is not too long to edit. So but no, Harmony is the one behind the magic in putting together everything from start to finish for these shows. So big shout out to her. And yeah, this has been such an awesome episode. If you guys have any feedback, anything else you'd like to add, any discussion points, you just want to, again, two-way conversations here that we're hoping to start with the show. But thanks so much for listening to this week's episode of Hashtag Manage. And Madeline, thanks for your time. It's been so fun to record yet another episode.
Thank you. I will see you guys on, hopefully it not on, hopefully in the DMs.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode. If you haven't already, hit that follow button, and if you really love us, be sure to subscribe wherever you are listening from.
And if you want to be one of our online besties, you can shoot us a DM over at hashtag managed on Instagram and let us know what your biggest takeaway was from this episode. Or, you could also share all your deepest, darkest secrets. Kidding. But we mean it when we say you can shoot us a DM. We love building real, authentic relationships with you.